The box is locked, the lights are on. It's almost robot viewing time. That's right, we are only 48 hours away from the launch of Battlebots Face-Off Episode 2, where you get to see Skorpios take on Roundhouse, Mad Catter, and Calypso. I'm so excited, and I can't wait for you guys to see these 6 exciting matches. So, I wanted to do a little bit of a recap for everyone who's new to the Builder blog, and everything we changed about Skorpios going into Battlebots Face-Offs, because it was a pretty different robot. First off, I want to say, Sablaze won the Giant Nut. He was the first hammer saw ever to do so, and I am going to be kind of having a mantra of, be more like Sablaze. So much so, I actually talked to Jameson about design changes I was going to make to Skorpios, and here's what he said.
Okay. So I have to admit, for years, I have been trying not to copy stuff off your robot, but this season has finally convinced me. I'm so sick of the wheelies. I need to do what you've done and drop the arm to the ground. I have literally not been doing that, as all my teammates are like, you should do that. I'm like, no, it'll make us look more like Sawblaze, there'll be more confusion.
I appreciate that. I know that it's kind of been like a sticking point for our teams to we want to kind of create this identity. I know that we had like the lime green, and you had a different, like a blue.
We had
jade.
Jade was the color.
Yeah, and you distinctly changed to a blue to avoid that, and like I really appreciate those efforts. But as is with most vertical spinners, it's kind of hard to ignore some things which are working really well. So everyone kind of borrows from each other, and you know, if that's what's got to be, that's what it's got to be. I mean, Skorpio still has a very distinctive look, regardless if the arm is in the air or if it drops down a little bit, a few more degrees. So I think people that know Skorpios and know Sawblaze, it's not going to make a difference then.
Okay, so when Battlebots Face-Off got announced, I didn't have enough time to finish Skorpios 10, which you guys could go watch that video. But I wanted to take a lot of the upgrades I was planning for 10 and try to find a way to jam them into the old robot. And so I actually went out to Bishop Wisecarver to see if they could help figure out why the weapon had never been spinning up properly. So I actually got to meet with their engineers, and they went over the entire robot top to bottom at their amazing facility in Pittsburgh, California. And they actually helped me figure out it was the belt tension. And all these years and all these different things I'd tried, I had put in bigger motors, I'd put in more batteries, I had changed the blade, I'd changed the blade design, but I changed the chains, the bearings, but it was the belts and the belt tension. I know, it's kind of like when IT tells you to reboot your computer. But a big help to the Bishop Wisecarver team. They were not only able to recommend some new belts that would work much better pulleys, better everything. Seriously, you should go check out their website. They actually have a lot of different engineering solutions for different automation problems. So if you need like a 7th axis for a robot or some crazy bearings, and seriously, check out the V-Groove bearings. It's something special to Bishop Wisecarver. These are used on Haas mills. They're used all over. I was actually really surprised how many spots I found them now that I know what they look like. But a big thank you to these guys, because they got the blade turning properly, which, you know, will make me a little more like Sawblaze, being able to actually go through people's top armor. But I do also have to thank Adam, who designed us a brand new blade. Now with our engineering solutions in hand, and updated CAD models with all the new dimensions and hardware, we head down to Petaluma, California, where we go to Van Bever Brothers. Now this is an amazing fabrication shop, specializing in large steel crafting, bending, cutting. I almost said welding, but you have to go to another place. They actually work with all weld in order to do their welding. But they have these giant 2-story presses that actually curve the Skorpios wedges. These are left over from the Kaiser shipyards in World War II. But with Van Bever Brothers, they cranked out all the parts we needed incredibly fast. We just loaded them up in the van, and with the new bent armor panels, all the new pieces we designed, we went ahead and drove up to Napa, California to visit our next location. So, with the steel parts from Van Bevers, now it's time to weld everything together.
Are you tapping that, Dan?
I'd tap that. The 5/16's 18.
Next up, we took all of our new steel parts up to Napa, California, where we went to the all-weld metal fabrication shop. Now, Matt and his team specialize in welding, and they are some of the best welders I have ever met in my 30-year career. They've done an amazing job putting Skorpios together, and they got right to work on all the new pieces Van Bever Brothers cut and made us 3 custom armor sets, one for each of our opponents, specialized to handle each one. And I especially liked these little nubs on the top to help us with roundhouse in case he flipped over. Now, I didn't actually have enough time to finish that wheelie bar tail you saw in the CAD model earlier, but Matt found an ingenious way to take our turtle shell arm and actually cut it and change it into a wheelie bar arm. And I really appreciate this because this is probably the biggest upgrade I wanted to use during this tournament. And I cannot thank Matt enough for finding a way to save me on this. But here is our Mad Catter front armor and our wheelie bar configuration for Mad Catter. So, wish us luck.
Are you feeling run down? Are you having trouble winning that giant nut? What you need is Mag Motor. That's right. Go ahead and pop that top and get yourself a taste of Mag Motor. Taste the power.
Now, this next step is something I'd been talking about for over a decade. And I cannot take full credit for the idea. Chewy from Tiki Labs first brought up to me after we fried our first pair of mag motors, running them at 36 volts, that we should really do some kind of air cooling so the mag motors wouldn't roast after every couple fights. And this is always something we had talked about. We're like, yeah, we'll do that next season. Yeah, we'll do that next season. But we finally did it. And it worked even better than I hoped. So I put relief holes in the front plate. We did 4 cavities in the back. And then we made all these mounting plates to mount a fan to it. And the outside bolts now reinforce the mag motor because we've also stretched these super special stainless screws that hold the thing together. And this fix was everything I had ever hoped for. I guess this really isn't spoilers for the fights, but for the first time ever, the motors lasted 3 matches. It was great! I know this is technically just a cost savings thing, but frankly, the motors work better. And something I was surprised about, when they're spinning, they actually let even more air through and out the front. So I know a lot of people are going to be looking at the tail and the blade and think those are some of the biggest upgrades on Skorpios. But getting air-cooled mag motors was a huge upgrade and a giant quality of life improvement for the team. Now, this was really impressive, but it was actually shortly after I finished recording this video, I had a bad heart episode. Longtime viewers of the Builder blog will know I have a heart condition, and stress, heat, and lack of sleep set it off, and I have bad heart palpitations. And I actually, had tried to avoid stress, heat, and sleep. That sounds like a builder's life. I actually had a pretty bad attack, and I ended up in the ER. And I really do have to thank my team, because when I went down and the doctor's like, you need to get more rest and you need to do less shit, my team showed up and they finished the robots to get them ready for face-off. So I just have to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So Adam, how does it feel installing your blade on the robot?
Feels pretty good.
Oh, that thing's beautiful.
Looks nice and aggressive.
And say hi, Leslie. The blog hasn't seen you in a while. Here's everyone out here building my robot. After a trip to the ER in a lost week, everybody is chipping in to help us catch up so we can still go. Thank you guys. Oh, don't worry. Cart sometimes moves. What you doing, Dan?
Well, you know, with only like a week of building left, there's not enough tension, so I gotta add a tensioner.
I've tried so hard not to laugh.
You asked me a question, and you said you don't want to laugh? Oh, your own fault there.
And then we have this year's RoboGames champion. Some of you might remember him from our RoboGames video. That's right, it's Ezra. Fix my robot.
Working on it. This is bigger than the one that I made.
Just a little.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have screws on my robot that are heavier than yours.
Yeah.
Skorpios, built on a plank of wood.
There we go. Perfect.
Jameson has like NASA engineers who make balloons to survive lightning. We got a plank of wood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All
Never
we need.
underestimate the plank of wood. Motor sliding up. A few bolts with some slots that we tightened down to tension this belt. But we're having this motor slide up during impacts. So I made a little block that bolts in here.
Nice.
So that block is set to the height that gives us the right tension. And we can put some washers under some screw heads there to adjust it if need be.
Skorpios is getting a bath?
Yeah, washers.
He.
So one last big thank you goes out to Minzoni Trucking, who actually let us use one of their shipping yards to practice driving the robots. And this is a huge advantage, probably one of the biggest ones we have. The wheelie bar arm did not act the way I expected. The first time we accelerated, the robot still did a wheelie and the arm pushed up. I actually called Jameson and asked for his advice on this. And he told me that Sawblaze does the same thing. It's actually up to the weapon operator to push back on the arm to keep the robot from doing a wheelie. And they actually timed this with each other. So on big accelerations, the weapon operator needs to push the arm back. Diana got to practice doing this thanks to Minzoni Trucking, and we got rid of the wheelies. We also borrowed another tactic from Jameson. Watching a lot of his videos, we realized he doesn't spin his blade until he gets his opponent pinned. And this helps him not fight gyro when he's driving around. So that's another one of his tactics we're going to adopt. So guys, that's it. That's all the upgrades. And one more thing Dan did to make sure I wouldn't overdo it anymore. He actually installed a winch in my van that pulls all the heavy equipment onto the van. Like, my God, I do not deserve a friend like Dan. That was such a sweet and thoughtful thing.
All right. There it is. Perfectly packed. Flawless efforts. It goes all the way to the top. Okay. Woo! High fives. High fives. To the packing crew.
Well, Builder Blog, I have to cut off the feed right here. We are just about to line up, and we're going to have the first round of fights here at Battlebots Face-Off. And you're going to have to wait and go subscribe to the Battlebots YouTube channel. They're going to be posting this either later in the year or early next year. So it does take time to edit your absolute favorite TV show. And Diana's going to continue to troll me.
So it can stare back at you.
Do it, 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 do it. Do 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 it. Do 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 it. Do 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 it. Yes. Let the power flow.
Maybe a little smaller.
Oh
No!